Hey everyone, Eric here from Action Yugioh, and this week I decided to channel my inner pendulum god and play Dracopals at locals. I got second place, and honestly I've been dying to play pendulums ever since Monkey Board came back, and I do not want to play Pendulum Magicians. Frankly, I think that deck's bad. So I put this together, and this deck worked out fantastic. So let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. To start things off, I played 3 Performapal Skull Crobat Joker. Obviously this card's incredible. Normal summon it, search for any Performapal. Performapals get you a lot further than Magicians do, they just continually search, which is why we also play 3 copies of Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer. This card is going to get you 2 free searches that just continue to plus you. Man, this deck's great, like, it just keeps going. To go on with that, we're going to continue to play 2 copies of Performapal Gentrude. This card, whenever it is destroyed, we get to place a Performapal Pendulum monster from our deck into our Pendulum Zone, so the pluses just keep coming. The only other Performapals that we're going to be playing are 1 copy of Performapal Monkey Board, 1 copy of Performapal Odd Eye Synchron, and 1 copy of Performapal Help Princess. Help Princess in particular is really good because anytime you normal summon Skull Crobat Joker, you have Help Princess, you can special summon it as an additional extender. It's the only Performapal with an inherent special summoning condition like that. Monkey Board's obviously insane, and Odd Eye Synchron can turn our monsters into tuners, so it's super important for our combos. We can also use monsters in our Pendulum Zone for Synchro summons, so we can summon it, summon out our Monkey Board from our Pendulum Zone, and go into a level 8 Synchro. After that, the next half of our engine is the Dracoslayers. For those, we're playing 2 copies of Odd Eye's Revolution Dragon, 1 copy of Master Pendulum, and 2 copies of Luster Pendulum. Odd Eyes I'm counting here as another Dracoslayer card because you can discard it from your hand, pay 500, and search for either Luster or Master. Most of the time, you're going to be searching for Luster. But this also means that if you normal summon Skull Crobat Joker, you can add your Odd Eye's Revolution Dragon, discard your Odd Eye's Revolution Dragon, and search Luster. So, your Performapal cards do actually search your Luster Pendulum, which is a really cool interaction that we didn't have back when this deck used to be meta. Next up, the only Magician Pendulum that we're running is Purple Poison Magician. This card has so much synergy in this deck. Obviously, it's searchable with Skull Crobat Joker, which means you have access to it through all your Performapal stuff, but also anytime it's popped, you get to destroy a card your opponent controls, or more specifically, any face-up card on the field. After that, we are playing 3 copies of Chronograph Sorcerer, our 1 Brick and Time Gazer Magician, and our 1 Astrograph Sorcerer. Obviously these cards are extenders. We want to be able to get to what we want to get to as early as possible, but also we are playing Wavering Eyes. So these cards are extenders in their own right. In revealing them and special summoning them whenever our stuff is destroyed, there are situations where you can use Chronograph Sorcerer and special summon it, plus a Pendulum Sorcerer, pop your own stuff, and go ahead and get into your combos without ever using your normal summon. After that, I got some huge spice here. I'm playing 1 copy of Speedroid Terrortop and 2 copies of Speedroid Hex Saucer. Terrortop, everybody should know this card, special summon it from your hand, and it'll let you search a Speedroid. The Speedroid we're searching is Hex Saucer. If this card is destroyed in the Pendulum Zone, you can special summon it from your extra deck into usually into the extra monster zone. It's the same as like when you would Pendulum summon, because you're summoning it from the extra deck, so most of the time it's just coming straight out of the extra deck into the extra monster zone. Fantastic extender. If you can draw Terrortop plus a Luster, you can get to your Beyond the Pendulum without ever having to use your normal summon. Next up, we are running a very small engine of Abyss Actors. We're just playing 2 Curtain Raiser and 2 Wild Hope. You can destroy your Wild Hope, you can search for a Curtain Raiser, you can do that with just Luster, pop it, search the Curtain Raiser, and obviously the Curtain Raiser is good, you can just special summon it if you control no monsters. Very good card, it's pretty much used in every Pendulum deck just because it's a free extender. Next up, huge spice. If you ever played Dracopals back in the day, you're going to remember this card. This is Guiding Ariadne. Anytime this card is destroyed, it lets us search for a counter trap by revealing 3 counter traps in our deck. Our opponent picks one and adds it to hand. So we are playing counter traps to search here, And then we are also playing 1 copy of Effect Veiler and 1 copy of Artifact Scythe. These are necessary combo pieces, obviously not pendulums, but we do need to run them. Starting off our spells, we are running 3 copies of Duelist Alliance and 3 copies of Wavering Eyes. Duelist Alliance lets us search for any pendulum monster, so Pendulum Sorcerer, Luster Pendulum are just some great examples of cards we can search off this. And then we also have Wavering Eyes. Wavering Eyes here lets us destroy 2 of our cards in scale, and then search for any pendulum monster that we want. Really crazy card. It's even better now that we have Astrograph Sorcerer to summon after searching it. That is an interaction that works. And like, we're playing so many versions of cards in this deck that want to be destroyed in the pendulum scale. You're never really hard minusing with this card. Very, very good. Now we are running 3 Sky Iris. Sky Iris lets us destroy a card and search for an Odd Eyes card. Our only targets here are Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon and Odd Eyes Performapal, or Performapal Odd Eyes Synchron. To round things off, we are playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment and 1 Solemn Scolding. There are a lot of combos here where we're able to search for 2 counter traps because Guiding Ariadne is not once per turn, so we need to run our 4 counter traps in order to get our optimal combos. That is also why we are running 50 cards in this deck. We don't really want to see our counter traps, but we do want to have at least 4 in deck. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, starting things off, we are playing 1 copy of Beyond the Pendulum. This is the newest addition to Pendulums. Super crazy card. It helps replace Electromite. Obviously, it doesn't do everything Electromite did, but in some situations it is better because you don't need 2 Pendulum monsters to make it. You just need a Pendulum monster plus 1 other monster, so you could use a Terror Top, for example. And then for our other Link monsters here, we are playing 1 Dagda, 1 Halqifibrax, and 1 Dahark the Dark Charmer. You do need to run at least 4 Link 2s in this deck just because of the way the pendulums work now. You gotta summon to the zones that Link monsters point to. You can't just throw them out of the extra deck all willy-nilly like you used to. And for the rest of our Link monsters, we are just running 1 Selene, 1 Access Code, and 1 Apollousa. Selene and Apollousa have really great Link markers for us to just flood the field, and Access Code is just Access Code. It's great for ending the game. That's it for the Link monsters. That is it for the Link monsters. For the Xyz, we are running 1 Light Dragon, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Baguska, and 1 Master Paladin. These cards are all really useful. Light Dragon in particular played a huge role in me doing as well as I did. Card was crazy today. And we are also running 1 AA Zeus, you know, the Sky Thunder, the crazy card, you know, make every Xyz good, attack over something, wipe the board. Card's nuts. Card's just crazy. Baguska in particular was really, really good today. I made it against Flunder with like a counter trap, and they just lose. Like, there's not a good way for them to play. I'm pretty sure I made all of these cards at least once today. In fact, I know for a fact I made all of these cards at least once. All of these Xyz are crazy. Finally, for our Synchro monsters, we are running 1 TG Wonder Magician, 1 Ignister, the Blasting Dracoslayer, and 1 of our Baroness. So that's it for the main deck. For the side deck, starting things off with 2 of the techier cards that I chose to play, Morphage Envy and Archfiend Eccentric. Archfiend Eccentric is just a searchable MST, and on field, it's a destruction for a monster. Very useful card. I cited it in going second quite a few times, but a Morphage Envy is the real MVP here. This card can be searched with Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, which means it's really, really accessible in this deck. There shouldn't be a lot of hands where you can't get to this. The real trick, though, is you have to Pendulum Summon it to get its effect. As long as it's on field and it's Pendulum Summoned, neither player can summon from the extra deck. This just auto-wins you a whole slew of matchups, especially if you can get this alongside Solemn Judgment or one of the other big cards in our side deck here. After that, the only other monsters I'm running in the side deck are just our Gamma package here. 3 Psi-Frame Gamma and 1 Psi-Frame Driver. Moving on to our big tech card here that just won us a whole slew of games going first in game 2. It's set rotation, and 2 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. There's nothing like setting up Secret Village of the Spellcasters alongside an Amorphage Envy, or getting Secret Village plus Solemn Judgment, and then like Baguska. Like, this card on its own wins you games. If you can get this card and protect it, there's not really a whole lot of games that you're going to be losing. And especially with this deck, the only cards we're really afraid of are spells. If we're going first, we are just not losing if we see this card and we're able to Pendulum Summon. The rest of the cards that I am running in the side deck are just very simple. We're running 3 copies of Raigeki and 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. Alongside this deck profile, I did want to give you guys a few quick combos. Our first combo here will be a 3-card combo using Duelist Alliance, Guiding Ariadne, and Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer. So the first thing you'll do is set Guiding Ariadne in the Pendulum Scale and use Duelist's Alliance. With this, you're going to grab Luster Pendulum, the Dracoslayer. After that, you'll place Luster in Scale, use Luster's effect, and Luster will pop Guiding Ariadne in order to search another copy of Guiding Ariadne. This will trigger the effect of the one that you just destroyed, so you'll reveal 3 counter traps. You're probably going to want to reveal 3 Solemn Judgment. This just means that your opponent will be forced to give you 1 of the Solemn Judgments. After that, you'll place the other Guiding Ariadne in the Pendulum Scale, and then perform a Pendulum Summon, summoning your Guiding Ariadne from your extra deck, and your Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer from your hand. Using Pendulum Sorcerer, you'll destroy Guiding Ariadne and Luster in order to search from your deck Performapal Skull Crobat Joker and Performapal Help Princess. After that, you're going to use the effect of your other Guiding Ariadne in order to reveal 3 more counter traps. Most likely, it'll be 2 Solemn Judgments and a Scolding. Your opponent will likely give you the Scolding, since it is slightly worse than Solemn Judgment. But ultimately, they're both still negates, so this is still 2 free negates for you. You'll normal summon Skull Crobat Joker and chain the effect of Help Princess. So it'll be Chainlink 1 Joker, Chainlink 2 Help Princess. Help Princess will summon itself, then you'll resolve Joker in order to search for your monkey board. Next up, you're going to link off Guiding Ariadne and Help Princess in order to summon your artifact Dagda. Then you are going to perform an Xyz summon using both of your Performapals, and you are going to be summoning the Dracoslayer Xyz monster. The reason that you're doing this here is on summon. This card has an effect where during the end phase you'll get to search for a pendulum monster. It also has an effect that you can detach a material in order to summon a Dracoslayer monster from your extra deck, a face-up pendulum. So you're going to summon out your Luster to the zone that Dagda points to. This is very important. It has to summon to a zone a link monster points to, or the extra monster zone. Then you're going to link those 2 monsters off. Luster is a tuner monster, so you'll be able to summon Halka Fibrax. Use the effect of Halka Fibrax here and chain Dagda so that you can set Artifact Scythe directly from your deck and summon Effect Veiler. Next up, you're going to set your Performapal Monkey Board in the Pendulum Zone, use its effect in order to add Performapal Gentrude. You could also use Ally Synchron here, but Gentrude is slightly better since you're not turning anything into a tuner. You'll link off the Effect Veiler and the Dagda in order to make Selene. You do have 3 spells here. You have both of your Pendulum Scales as well as the Duelist Alliance in your graveyard, so it will have 3 counters. You will be able to revive a spellcaster. You'll revive one of the spellcasters that you placed under your Dracoslayer Xyz, preferably Pendulum Sorcerer, and then link off Selene and the Pendulum Sorcerer in order to summon Apollosa. This will be a 2-negate Apollosa, so you'll have both your counter traps and a 2-negate Apollosa, so that's 4 interruptions, just like that. During the end phase, you will use the effect of your Dracoslayer Xyz, so you will get back some advantage. Probably just go ahead and add a Skull Crobat Joker here, so you'll be ready for next turn. Then, during the opponent's turn, Your opponent will, during main phase, have the opportunity to make the first move, but you'll have a counter trap for whatever they have. You'll use Halka Fiber Axe here in order to summon out your TG Wonder Magician. TG Wonder Magician can pop your Scythe here. So Scythe will summon itself back from grave, summon itself to the field, activate its effect, so your opponent cannot summon from the extra deck. Then you want to use the effect of TG Wonder Magician in order to go ahead and perform a Synchro Summon so that you can summon out your Baroness. So you now have 2 counter traps, 2 negates from your Apollousa, Baroness, and your opponent is under Scythe Lock. You did all this with just 3 cards. I do have one more combo I wanted to show real fast. This is just a simpler version of the combo I just showed. All you need to perform this combo is just Monkey Board and Pendulum Sorcerer, but really all you need is just a full scale and Pendulum Sorcerer. So you'll use Monkey Board in order to get your Gentrude. This completes your scale, so you can Pendulum Summon your Pendulum Sorcerer. Use the effect of Pendulum Sorcerer to destroy your scales. Then you will just go ahead and search Performapal Skull Crobat Joker and Performapal Help Princess. Now here, because you had the Monkey Board, you can use Gentrude in order to go ahead and put your Odd Eye Synchron in the Pendulum scale. You're going to normal summon your Skull Crobat Joker, just like before, use the effect of Help Princess, Chainlink 2, summon it out, and then Skull Crobat Joker will search. Here you've already used up your Monkey Board, so you'll go ahead and search whatever you want. Purple Poison's good. If you hadn't used your Monkey Board, you just use Monkey Board to get your Synchron. Synchron here is just going to turn one of our cards into a tuner so that we can summon out Halka Fiber Axe. Halka Fiber Axe effect, so we'll be able to summon out our Effect Veiler, and then we are just going to link off our Effect Veiler and our Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer in order to summon Artifact Dagda. This is effectively a 2-card Scythe Lock. You can do it anytime you can summon Pendulum Sorcerer. It's just a nice little trick that you can do. The fact that this deck has a go-to plan for just summoning singularly the most searchable card in the deck, Pendulum Sorcerer, is why I prefer this deck over something like Pendulum Magicians, because this deck not only gets you a lot more for doing a lot less in comparison to that deck, it also loses less to Ash, and at the same time, it gets you recurring advantage, so you're less likely to lose from just getting your board broken. Thanks for watching the video. Tell me in the comments section down below what you'd like to see next, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.